Old Green. There she is. Look at Old Green sitting there. It's like she's posing. But check it out, guys. We got the plow on the truck. Looking good, guys. Looking good. We are getting ready for this little bit of snow that might actually come our way. But in this video, I want to talk about what the plans are for Old Green and what the goal is. So, as you guys know, we paid $3,600 for the truck, and getting a little bit of work done was pretty expensive. It was almost $600 just to get the hubs fixed. So what I'm finding is mechanic work is not cheap. So we do know that it has a small power steering leak, not too big, just a small stain on the driveway when the vehicle's running, and it has broken front struts. But as of right now, there's no reason why it can't be driven, and it can't drive, and it can't go to work. The front struts, they're just a little bit annoying, but the only thing that it really does need, aside from the other stuff before it can go to work, is the tires. They're too bald for driving in the snow, and it wouldn't be safe. You just slide off the road. So we're gonna look at some tires for the vehicle so that it can do some snow. But other than that, it has good heat. It does start right up. It does run. Matter of fact, it hasn't been started today. Let's go ahead and give it a cold start and see exactly how it sounds. Alright, here we go. Cold start. This is the driver's side, and here's the passenger side. Now, what's really interesting about starting this vehicle up cold and hearing it run is you don't have any noise. It's really quiet. I'm going to pop the hood so we can see exactly how the engine sounds. Alright, here's how the engine sounds cold. There's no clicking. There's none of that annoying ticking that's been a concern. None of that stuff is there when the engine's cold. And that's good and bad. I mean, it's good to know that it's not a rocker. If it were a rocker, you'd hear the noise right now. Cold start, particularly on a cold start. If it was a rocker or a lifter, you'd hear it. But cold start, it sounds just fine. You should hear exhaust manifolds on a cold start, but you really don't on this vehicle. You do hear it once it's warmed up, and then you start it again. Then it has a little bit of exhaust manifold tick for a while, which could be the source of all the noise. It does start to run a little rough too as well when it does make the little bit of clicking noise. So it's either just a manifold knock, but I've heard this noise plenty of times online on different videos, and it does seem to point to probably just being a cam phaser knock, which is okay. I'm gonna have to just go ahead and live with it and let it go, because I don't think that's really going to be catastrophic to the motor. You know, I think a lifter knock could be more catastrophic to the motor, but just cam phaser, that's not an issue. Like I say, we only get the noise once the oil gets all the way heated up. I mean, all the way. Even if the engine starts to get a little warm, still no noise. So I'm not going to worry too much about it. I think it's going to be okay. I haven't seen any metal in the oil since we did a full synthetic oil change, and we bumped viscosity up to 5W30. And I don't know if that's the right move. You know, all the mechanics that I've talked to say that they recommend just sticking with the 5W20. I don't know what the right answer is. I'm going to try the 5W30 for a while. Maybe I'll go to 520. But the one mechanic that does recommend 5W30 is Ford Tech Make You Loco, who is on YouTube. He highly recommends 5W30, says it's okay, swears by 5W30, but all the mechanics that I've talked to recommend 5W20. So I don't know what the right answer is. It seems to run good. 5W30 does not solve the clicking noise, but I think the motor itself is sound. It doesn't appear to be burning too much oil. I mean, I'm sure it uses some oil when it's under load or when it's driving down the road, but it's not burning a ton of oil out of the exhaust to where you see any puffs of blue smoke or anything like that. But I'm sure between oil changes, it'll need some oil added to it. Now, that being said, the vehicle's never going to really drive too many miles unless I start driving it back and forth to work. But generally speaking, the vehicle's not going to be driving too many miles. But at the end of the day, this is a $3,600 truck. It's already rusty, even though they tried to cover a lot of it up with the bed liner or whatever kind of spray paint that is, some kind of black rubberized paint, probably undercoat. Even though they covered that stuff up, it is what it is. I'm thinking about just putting a really good set of tires on it. Maybe I'll use it whatever if I don't want to get my car dirty, my personal truck dirty. And that's the thing. I'm gonna go ahead and let it be used for snow, for just carrying snow blowers and shovels as it's warming up. Still sounds pretty good. Still good. So I'm not gonna worry too much about it. I think it's gonna be okay. Now if something actually fails on the motor, I'll go ahead and fix it, but I want to just go ahead and put the tires on it and see what it can do. Now it's going to be interesting because this vehicle, look at that, it's got automatic headlights. But it's going to be interesting because this vehicle is only $3,600 and it can seat 3 and it has the potential to earn thousands. Now in a perfect world, I would have liked to have the silver truck that we had on the channel before, but ended up selling so fast. But it is what it is. I didn't want to make a move on it so quick, but I should have kind of made a move on that truck because it had the 5.0 and all that. But at the end of the day, this truck was a little bit cheaper and it will earn money. So it has a huge potential to earn money compared to our main truck. This thing's incredibly expensive as well. I mean, it earns a lot of money too, but you'd be surprised how much you can make with something like this. So the goal is to have a really nice margin with this truck and go ahead and just cut it loose with the employees and not have to worry that they're going to ding it or dent it or whatever the case. And then in the summer, if it survives the winter, that 8-foot bed can haul branches and stumps and whatever. So it's going to be interesting to see how it works out. This is new for me, buying an old vehicle, something that's not necessarily the most beautiful vehicle, the most reliable vehicle, and trying to earn money with it. But there's people out there who are in that situation where this is what they might have to do, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you're just starting out and you're just getting going, you go and buy the cheapest vehicle you can find. It might be the engine that is not necessarily the most popular engine. No one else wants it. At the end of the day, that is what this vehicle is. Nobody really wants a 5.4 liter 3-valve V8, but at the end of the day, it could get you going. It could get you started. It could be a vehicle just that you drive in the snow or has 4-wheel drive. It is what it is. You don't know. There's a lot of people out there who might be just starting out, and it is possible to just start out with something like this. And if all you got is a couple $1,000s, then you got to do what you got to do, and you got to roll the dice. So that's what I'm doing with this truck. I'm gonna put some towing insurance on it because it is that infamous 5.4. But I will say this regular cab F-150 stuff is cool. Like, they have one of the better regular cabs, particularly this year, before they got rid of the rear doors. It's kind of silly that this opens up because it doesn't do much, but I mean, you could throw a couple waters in here, which is nice. You could put your stuff behind the back seat. Like I said, seats 3, and you could haul some tools back here behind the seats, and it gives you a little bit of room to recline the seats as well. You don't have to sit like laser straight up and down. You can recline the seats a little bit. I mean, you could even go a little further if you move this seat up. I'm sure you could recline it even further. Let's see. I mean, you could recline this thing pretty good. I mean, you can almost lay down. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's still a nice truck to have. As it's warming up, it still sounds pretty good. Let's look under the hood. It sounds really good still. And it really needs to be driven and everything until it makes that knocking noise. It's not all the time, so it's not a lifter, it's not a rocker, it's nothing like that. It's nothing internal like that. It's probably a cam phaser, something of that nature, because it does come with a little bit of rough idle. And if the truck survives, maybe I'll put the lockout kit on it so where it just eliminates all the VCT, variable, all that stuff. It just runs it without that. That would be ideal. Sitting inside, you can hear the ticking slowly coming in as it gets hotter and hotter as the oil gets all the way up to operating temperature. But, you know, it is what it is. Maybe it'd be worth